Hi everyone, and in this episode of 427 Motorsports I'm going to show you guys how to create custom gauge faces for your auxiliary gauges. Now, the car in question for this video is my 2001 Subaru Impreza Turbo wagon, and as you can see on the top of the dashboard there's an empty space there where these gauges once sat. Let's make them look good. Okay, so to start, these are cheapy gauges that I got. Well, I didn't get, they came with the car actually, and they had a really horrible face on them. They looked really tacky and cheap, and this surround was already in the car. So today we're going to need various sizes of flathead screwdriver and being safe, different sets of needle nose pliers. Realistically though, this dinky little set is probably the set that I'm going to use. First of all, we're going to flip them around. As you can see, they are held on with these sort of nut things, and by things I mean they are just nuts. So we're going to remove all of these. A smart person would have got a spanner or socket in the right size, but I forgot, so I'm going to use these pliers because I know that they aren't actually that tight. I would advise just getting the right tool because this took way longer than it needed to. Now, that leaves us with these three gauges ready to come out. So we'll just set this aside somewhere. Now, as you can see, one of them has already been attacked, shall we say. So we'll start with that one because I'm not as afraid to damage it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our very fine flat screwdriver and we're just gonna, I don't know if you can see, we're just gonna pry it along the edges. Now, I don't take any responsibility for if you damage this. Bear that in mind before you start taking apart stack gauges or something like that. This is a cheapy set that came with the car, so. But we're just gonna carefully pry along. Now that's already started to pop off. Could be because it's damaged, who knows. Then you should have it ready to pop off. And there we are. Voila! So this ring face for the gauge is very damaged, so I didn't really mind damaging it a wee bit because it's never going to be perfect anyway, but the others I'll take a bit more care with. So that leaves you with this ring, or in fact if you wanted to you could just, well, if you happen to have a 3D printer you could 3D print a new gauge face, but it's up to you really. So that leaves us with our gauge inside this wee container. So if I take this off, that should push out, yes, leaving us with our gauge. I'll put this back onto this just so I don't lose it. Now, don't touch any of this. It works, so let's leave it that way. But what we want to do is we need to pry off the needle. We're going to take our needle nose pliers and gently put them under the needle. Careful not to move it too much, and it should just pop off. I'd put your finger slightly over the top just so it doesn't fly off. And there you have your bird gauge. So, there we have it. There's the two LED lights that light it up. So we're just going to set that aside. In fact, the best thing to do probably is to put it back in. Just to make sure, again, you don't lose it. Put the needle with it. Now, this is where the action happens. So as you can see, this one has actually been done before. That's the old label, and this is one on the back. What I did for convenience sake here is right on it where the top is, because your gauges might have a specific way of sitting, and you don't want to get that wrong after you went through the effort of painting everything, or sticking everything. So when we peel off the old sticker, so that's the gist of it off. I'll give it a better clean before we go to the next step, but as you can see, the light comes through it. Now, I won't deny it, I have already had this off and had made a sticker, as you can see, but what I didn't think to do was remove the original. As you can see, this is clear and this side's printed on, and if you don't take this off, then whenever the light shone through, it only shone through what was on the original. So then when it came through to my sticker, it didn't look right. So basically I'm redoing them. So by the end of all of this, you should be left with 3 gauge faces ready to have their sticker residue removed. Now it's time to put the 3 gauge faces into a scanner facing down. This will give you a template on the computer for tracing around. Now this next part is where things start to get a bit more technological and advanced, but stick with it. Now you're going to open this file in your graphics editor of choice. Personally for me it's Adobe Illustrator. And what you're going to do is you're going to trace around the original gauges. So I've done it here with the pen tool. And what I'm doing is the gauges have been scanned at the correct size of the original gauges. So if you draw around them without changing the size or anything like that, if you draw around them, you should, and well actually you do because I did it, you will wind up with the gauges recreated in the correct size. Now this is where you can have a bit of fun. I wanted to have the numbers in all of the correct places, but you can change your fonts and put some logos on. I personally hated the logos and the fonts on this, it looked really tacky, so I thought I'll change it to more of a 427 style because, well, it's a 427 car. So I used the Subaru font for the numbers, and then I went and got the 427 MS logo and put it in place of where the Dragon gauge was, and got an STI logo as well, just to fit in with the whole Subaru theme. And after doing that, you should be left with 3 custom gauge faces in the style that you want, ready to go. Now the key thing here is to save it as, I went for a JPEG, but the important thing is the DPI, which is dots per inch I believe, and this is your printer settings. Now you want to make sure you have it at 300 here because this is print quality. Anything else will come out pixelated and not look right. You want to make sure you give it the best possible quality. The next thing you're going to do is print. Make sure the size hasn't changed, and print it out on probably A4 if it's a scanner like mine, and then print it onto high quality sticker paper. And then, all being well, you should be left with 3 gauges in great quality at the perfect size, ready to be cut out and stuck onto your gauge. Okay, so we've now got our gauge faces printed onto sticker paper. I'm quite pleased with how they look, to be honest. So next up is the bit more risky part. Like once you started to do this, there's no going back, so I hold no responsibilities for how this goes for you. But the next step is we have to get rid of this. Now, as I said earlier in the video, my problem was I had made a sticker before, but I didn't remove this, which meant when the LED lights in here lit up, they only lit up what was already on this, which meant my stickers then weren't getting enough light and it didn't look right. So I am using nail polish remover. Now this isn't very strong, it literally says on it for weak nails. A more strong one might do a better job, it might do a worse job, I'm not sure, but this is what I have. Now be warned that when you do it, you will have a sort of cloudy effect. Now you can polish this if you wish, I'm happy enough because all I need is the light to pass through it and it'll be fine. So again, this is all on you. But what you need is nail polish remover and some tissue. That's in that box over there. And we're literally just gonna open the nail polish remover, put some onto the tissue, and just begin to wipe. That's not gonna come off right away. It took me, I did that as a test one just to see it worked before I embarrassed myself on video live. But it's going to take a bit of time just going over it and over it and over it, and eventually you'll see it start to come off. I think you can see there, the white is behind the thing. So the difference is, I think that's actually printed on. Now we're putting a sticker on over it, and if the sticker paper is like mine and that it's quite small sticker paper, then it should go through it. Quite a lot of residue, so make sure you swap it over now and again just to make sure you're only getting the nail polish remover on it and not just rubbing a load of crap back onto it again. It's going to use a decent amount of tissue and nail polish remover, but hey ho. Now, different gauges might be done in different ways. This Dragon gauge set might have a different setup, and for that I have no advice. You're taking it into your own hands. You have been warned. Now, if anyone has any better ideas for what stuff to use for this, I don't know whether different countries have different products. If you're in America, you might have better stuff for doing this that I don't know of. In here, there might be better stuff to do this that I don't know of. This is just what we had in the house. But feel free to put it in the comments and help people out. Now, by the end of all that, you should be left with 3 of these. Now, as I said, they are a bit cloudy, but I'm happy enough as long as light passes through them. You may be a bit more picky, in which case do some research into what you can use to clean this a bit better. So now we move on to, let's clean my desk a bit, our gauge faces. So now, this is sticker paper. So now I'm going to carefully cut around these and have them ready to go. There we have it. So this one is my boost one. Can I see where I once had it written? Say on top? No, okay. Now we're going to remove the sticker. Nice. Make sure it's all smooth. There we have it. There's a new gauge face. So, we're gonna have our hole in the back still to cut, but minor. Let's just poke it through with this. Now, it wasn't perfectly center as you can see, but if I set this in, it will cover it'll cover it, so it's fine. So next, we need to put our boost gauge on. Now that's the top, so we need to line that up with the see? Quite pleased with that. So now we're going to put the needle in. Be very careful with this. It has to line up with where the 0 is, because the 0 is the end. There we are. Now it's slightly off, I think, but close enough. You can be more picky than I am. So now I need to kind of twist these together to get them to go through the hole again. Now, lift this up. Put the nut on. Hold it like this. That's our gauge. Now. Oh, this really is in bad shape, isn't it? At some point I'll put a new one on, but for now I'm happy enough. So now it's on to one of the not broken ones, and as you can see it's much better looking. So my tip now is grab your screwdriver again, and then you're gonna, with the flat side of it, not the pointy side at the top but the side, hold a bit of pressure down and kinda smoothing off the edges that you've pushed out. Is it an arduous process? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. Of course, you're probably never going to get it quite as good as it was in the first place, but you know. Now, you're not going to see this, but you know, it's knowing it's done. There we are. Now you can see the difference between a damaged one and a non-damaged one, but hey, what do you do? So, I'll do this last one now. Right, now, I want boost here. It's really such a shame about that, but oh well. And I want air fuel ratio here and oil pressure here. What I might do is, now that I know how these work and how they come apart, I'll just buy another set and then have these better. But anyway, refitting is the same as removal. So we want right, those are in, so let's wire them in and see how they look lit up and see if I actually want to keep them, and then we'll fit it properly. So now we're in the car, let's see if they work. Nice. The boost one does light up, it's not the brightest, but it works. That one kind of flickers, but to be honest, that's more to do with the cheapness of these gauges. They're totally unused and untested, so, but yeah. So, notwithstanding the quality of my actual gauges, I hope you have learned how to make your own gauge faces, and I'm excited to see what you make of it. So, thanks for watching, and subscribe to see more cool Subaru stuff as we do more. So, I'm Tom Pattison, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.